Okay, so the purpose of this video is to go over the theory critique paper. So here is the guidelines that you can download off of Blackboard. And this theory critique paper is your term paper, so it's not due until Module 13. The goal right now is just to introduce it to you early in case you want to start it now. So let's go over the purpose and description. The purpose of this assessment is to give students the opportunity to evaluate the adequacy of a criminological theory using knowledge gained throughout the semester. This assessment requires students to critically examine a criminological theory by breaking down its assumptions, main concepts, and structure, and to evaluate its adequacy based on an established set of criteria. So to complete this assignment, there are a few steps. Okay, so it's laid out for you here. Step 1, select a theory. So here is a list of theories that we will be discussing in class. You need to select only one. Do not select more than one. So once you've identified the theory that you want to use for your paper, go to the discussion board here in step 2 and then sign up for your theory. And the reason why you need to sign up for your theory is because no more than 5 people can choose the same theory. Okay, and also make a note here, you cannot complete this assignment until you have received approval for your theory. So just because you sign up for it, right, you also need to make sure that you get approval for it as well before you begin your paper. And you must sign up for your theory by Module 5. Okay, so let me show you. So here is Blackboard. To sign up for your theory, you just need to go to the discussion board, scroll down, and then here it is. Select your theory for your theory critique paper here. Again, here is the list of theories. You just click on it, enter your name, the theory, and the theory that you would like to use for your paper. All right, and again, you will need to receive approval before you start writing your paper. All right, let's go on to step 3. And then once you receive approval, start writing your paper. You must format your paper to meet the guidelines below, and then submit proof of your visit to the writing studio. So one of the requirements to complete this paper is you need to make sure you get feedback from the writing studio. Okay, so write a draft of your paper, schedule an appointment with somebody over at the writing studio, and then get feedback from them on how to improve your paper. You will need to complete this step. And you will need to submit proof that you have visited the writing studio. And then once you receive feedback, right, edit your paper based on the feedback, and then cut a final draft, and then submit that final draft in Blackboard before the deadline. So here are the steps. Select your theory, go to the discussion board, sign up for that theory, and then start writing your paper once you have a draft. Okay, make an appointment with the writing studio for feedback, and then submit your final paper to Blackboard. So the guidelines are below. So here are the guidelines. This is all the information that you will need to include in your paper. Okay, content guideline. You will need to have an introduction paragraph, which you talk about the theory, background, and your position. I'm not going to go over the details, but you can definitely read it on your own. You also need body paragraphs. So here, the first paragraph, you will need to break down the theory, its underlying assumptions, main concept, and the structure. Okay, and then you also need to critique it. So after you talk about the theory and you break it down, now it's time to critique it. And you will have to talk about these criteria. So we have parsimony, scope, and policy implication. You will know what these are once you reviewed your textbook. Okay, your textbook does talk about the criteria of a good theory. Again, I'm not going to go over it here, but make sure you do read these instructions on your own. And then finally, you need to have a conclusion paragraph. This is where you summarize the information presented above. Okay, and then to format your paper, here are the guidelines. It must adhere to the APA style of writing, and APA is, you will have some practice within, I believe, the second learning module on how to format your paper in APA. You will also have practice from some of the assignments that you will be completing for this class. So use this as a checklist. And then finally, okay, so here are some information or instructions for submitting proof of your visit to the writing studio. And then finally, make sure there is a rubric available. As you are writing your paper, follow the rubric, and the rubric is right here. So when it comes time to grade your paper, these are all the information that your instructor will be looking for. Okay, so I'll use this as your checklist as well. So as you're writing up your paper, make sure that you have the information that will be reviewed. So introduction, assumptions, main concept, theory, structure, parsimony, scope, policy implications, conclusion, and then also formatting and mechanics. Okay, so both the guideline and the rubric is already available to you in Blackboard. So be sure to download and review it right away. And if you have any questions, make sure to contact your instructor.